In this particular session, we're going to be talking about guarding against pornography. And I have a confession to make from the outset, and that is the difficulty of even doing this. That is, of guarding against it. And I want to say more about that later on, but just acknowledging the fact of it up front. You know, one of the things that we tell the men at Bear Valley that you need to do audience analysis. What kind of people are going to be in the session that you're giving? And I thought, who's going to come to this one? It's going to be all over the map. You might be someone that is trying to help someone that struggles with pornography. You might just be wanting to get information. You might be someone that yourself is struggling with pornography. The possibilities are many when we think about who would come to a session like this. And so when I did the audience analysis, I thought, well, the best way that I know of approaching this is to break it into various parts. And so the first part of this discussion on pornography, which you're going to have to go through rather quickly, has to do with parents and those children of theirs in addressing this topic about pornography. 85% of children say parents have no idea what they do online. And the fact of the matter is, parents, they don't want you to know what they're doing online. My son is a youth minister at Bear Valley, and he says, Dad, he said, because so many parents have jumped onto Facebook, a lot of the kids are jumping off of Facebook because their parents are on Facebook. And so they're going to other things, Snapchat, Twitter, where their parents are not there. There's so much that can be learned from the internet. We all recognize the good that it provides. But with great promise comes great danger. And like this young man, the computers are often located in a place that is very, very unwise. 75% of 14 to 16-year-olds say their parents have never talked to them about the dangers of pornography. The pornographic industry sends out over 1 billion emails a day. Those emails are landing in your inbox and the inbox of our children. If they click on the link, they are immediately going to be exposed to pornography. That's the hope. Just like a drug dealer wants to get a child addicted to drugs early, and then his attitude is, I've got him for life. So also is that the case with pornography. They want to get somebody hooked on pornography early. And parents have got to understand the risks of immoral behavior, cyberbullying, sexual content, and sexual predators. As a matter of fact, 60% of all websites are sexual in nature. In 2009, that number was 223 million pornographic websites. Whoops, go back. 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have viewed pornography online. With 2/3 of the websites containing sexual material, what are the odds that a child turned loose will run into one? It's almost a certainty. How are they going to react? Many believe that they would get in trouble if they told their parents what they saw, and so they don't. They don't have that kind of openness and communication. Children internet pornography statistic. Let me just throw some at you quickly. The average age of the first internet exposure to pornography is 11 years old. Typically, the first time that they see pornography is 8 years old. The largest consumer of internet pornography are 35 to 49-year-olds. 80% of 15 to 17-year-olds have multiple hardcore exposures to pornography. 90% of 8 to 16-year-olds have viewed porn online, most of the time while doing homework. 29% of 7 to 17-year-olds would freely give out their home address. 14% of 7 to 17-year-olds would freely give out an email address. 26% of a child's email address gives away something that is personal about themselves. In addition, there are 100,000 websites that offer child pornography worldwide. 1 out of 5 children are solicited online. Sometimes it's not what they run into, but it's who they run into. 20% of missing teen cases involve chat room strangers. There's a 100% chance, according to experts, of meeting a sexual predator in an internet chat room. Why do so many sex offenders and pedophiles hang out in social network environments? Because they know it works. They know it's successful. 491,000 registered sex offenders in the U.S. Over 20% of that number have been found in an internet site like MySpace. These are the ones that are registered. These men and women don't sign in with, "Hi, I'm a sex offender." They pretend to be teenagers. 42% of teens accept friend requests on social network that they don't know. 42%. You get some friend request, have no idea who that person is. They say yes. %42 of teenagers accept requests from people they don't know. Facebook profiles are prolific, according to Northeastern University in a 2012 study. The average fake page has 700 friends. And real people out of the 700 friends is 130. Let me run that by you again. We've got 700 friends on average. 130 of those are who they say they are. Facebook accounts are routinely used for stalking and harassment. Information gathering, such as your pictures, email addresses, phone number, physical address, and other intrusions into your personal life. 77% of teenagers have been contacted by a sexual predator by age 14. Those of you that are fathers of girls, that's a very troubling statistic. 12% of teen girls eventually meet strangers in person. So kids, you're not as anonymous as you think. People are watching. People often are not who you think they are. One of the greatest dangers to kids is that you think that no one can find you. You're wrong. Something as simple as posting your hobbies, where you go to school, can make a huge difference. People can pretend to be someone they're not. That cute 15-year-old boy on Facebook could be a 45-year-old man. We talk about natives versus immigrants. It's not just computers that need to be learned, but there's our children. I mean, how many in here have needed to get something set up and you had to ask your 8-year-old to do it for you? This is their world. They know what they're doing. They're natives. We're immigrants to this. We're those of us that are older. This isn't the world that we grew up in, and so we're behind the learning curve on this. But we've got to get up to date and understand what's going on with places like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, Tumblr, Pinterest, Snapchat. These are all things that, believe me, your kids know all about. So what is the big deal about these things? These are all areas that are being used by sexual predators and by those that are promoting pornography. And that's how insidious and widespread it is. All right, let's get to some practicality. Say, parents, what can you do? One is educate yourself. But second is never leave a computer in a tween or a teen's bedroom with an internet connection. Now that may come across as, that's not rocket science, that's not all that complicated, but the number of parents who allow kids to have computers with internet access in their room is astonishing. And I've seen studies that go as high as 90% of those kids, teenagers, 13 to 19, that have a computer. Do you allow them to use a computer in their room? And does that computer have internet access? Yes. Almost 9 out of 10. So the very first thing, if we're going to try to guard against it, is to make sure that we're keeping that from happening within the home. So you're not as anonymous as you think. People are watching. So, some suggestions. Surf with a purpose. The internet is not a place to go wandering. There are far too many traps, and the porn industry knows exactly that. It's got some wonderful things to teach, but it also can take you to places that will hurt you spiritually. Know why you're getting online, do what you need to do, and then get off. Parents, do you know why your children are getting online? What is the purpose that they need to have some internet time? Second, don't download or install anything without your parents' permission. There are more dangers than just computer viruses. Key capture software can gather information about you, where you live, where do you go to school, names of family members, as well as find you to be a target for pornography. Number 3, don't open email attachments or click on links from anyone that you don't know. Let me repeat a stat I gave you earlier. 1 billion emails are being sent by the porn industry every day. And every single one of those 1 billion emails has a link that is going to lead to a pornographic site. And it's not that the very first time you click on the link, there are those images. And that's what the 8-year-old sees or the teenager sees. Don't open those attachments. Never post personal information online. Like your profile information. Screen names need to be those that you give some thought to. What's the difference between Pen Pal 270 and Teen Princess 12? Well, Teen Princess reveals two things. Girl, teen. That's what predators are looking for. What's the difference between Soccer Star and Soccer Boy? Again, it gives out information, just the very name that's being used. In social networks, be sure that your profile is set to private. There are these phishing schemes. Get an email or make contact to get you to go. They want you to go fill out a form online. Never chat or email with people that you don't know. Don't post pictures of yourself, your family, and your friends online. And I'm not just talking about images that maybe show too much skin, but those that might lead them to the school that you go to or know some personal information about you. The fact of the matter is, and one of the problems with the internet is once it's out there and you're not ever going to get it back. One of the recent phenomenons has to do with sexting. And when we think about this idea of sending nude pictures, it is one of those things. I'm going to go past that. 30% 17-year-olds have received nude or nearly nude images on their phone. One says, when I was about 14 or 15 years old, I received or sent those type of pictures. Boys usually ask for them or start that type of conversation. My boyfriend or someone I really like asked for them, and I felt like if I didn't do it, they wouldn't continue to talk to me. Another said, I've heard of people getting those types of pictures, and usually it's someone's girlfriend, but the people that receive them aren't even the person that they are dating. They are sent to like 10 other guys, for example, like the guy's friends with something saying, I can't believe that she did this. All right, here's the video that I wanted to show you. And there's an audio that is not important, but the idea is kind of a dramatization related to this idea of sexting. All right, so her boyfriend says, send me something hot. So what's she going to do? Yes or no? She replies, no. Congratulations. You made the right choice. But what if that was different? Now she sent it. So what's he going to do with that now lewd picture that he received? She has no control over what he's going to do with that picture now. So he shows it to his friends. Next question, should he share it with his friends? And he chooses to share it with his friends. And now just think of all the different people that are going to see it. The little brother, the mom, the dad. There are literally millions of images of children. Images that have been captured by those in the porn industry that were text. And so now they've collected all those. And so we've got boys and girls of all ages whose images that are forever on various pornographic sites. And it all started with that one first decision to share that image. And from that point on, it completely spirals out of control. Seventh suggestion, never accept gifts from strangers online. Leads to part of what sexual predators do. Never agree to meet with a stranger without a parent with you. Never type or post anything online about someone that you wouldn't say to that person in public. We have to remember Ephesians 4:29, let no unwholesome word proceed out of your mouth, but only that which is good for edification. Share what you see. Talk to your parents or a trusted adult, an elder, preacher, youth minister, teacher. Remember, 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have viewed pornography, most unintentionally, but they need to go talk to their parents about what they have seen. All right, that's part one. But let me say this to parents. You are not going to keep your children from viewing pornography. And so if you have your New Testaments, I would like for you to turn to Ephesians chapter 5. I believe the Bible actually gives us some very good instruction on what we should do. It seems like Ephesians 5, 11 and 12 actually offers a contradiction. Because in verse 11 it says, do not participate in the unfruitful deeds of darkness, but instead even expose them. Verse 12, for it is disgraceful even to speak of the things which are done by them in secret. But all things become visible when they are exposed by the light, for everything that becomes visible is light. All right, so how is Paul saying, don't even talk about these things? And then in the other verse saying, expose these things. Here is the course of action. As parents, we do our very best to keep our children from seeing pornography. We do the safeguards that we've talked about. We've moved the computer out of the bedroom. Maybe we have limited internet access. We've opened dialogue of communication with our children. So we've done those kind of safeguards so that pornography won't even come into their world, at least not for a while. But then when it does come into their world, Paul says it's time to talk. It's time to expose those things for what they are. The unfruitful deeds of darkness, things that are going to be exposed by the light of God's Word. Here is the solution to the problem of pornography. Spirituality is the solution. what we do is we talk about the light. We talk about the light of God's Word. We talk about that God is light, and in Him there is no darkness at all. And that we have to make choices. Those things are going to come into our lives. I wish I could say that we could completely avoid seeing pornography. That's not going to happen. So when it does happen, the solution to that is that determination of being spiritual, making those spiritual choices. All right, so I want to move on then to part 2. Protecting yourself from pornography. Two-thirds of those that went to a lawyer's conference said that internet pornography was a major contributing factor to divorces that they had in their practice. Did you realize that in 2006, the porn industry brought in $13.3 billion more than the NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA combined? Every second, $3,075 are being spent on pornography. Every second. How long have we been going here? A lot of seconds. Every second, 28,258 internet users are viewing pornography. Every second, 372 internet users are typing adult search terms into search engines. Every 39 minutes, a new pornographic video is being created in the United States. 72 million unique visitors in 2009. 40 million adults regularly view pornography in 2009. And guess what is the fastest growing aspect of internet pornography? Women viewers. 33%, according to recent statistics, are women. 33% admit to some level of pornographic addiction. Women are the fastest growing demographic of those that visit porn sites. 10% of women in a recent survey said they view porn every day. And 1/3 of them said they watch porn at least once a week. While it's accepted that women are watching and enjoying porn more and more, it's less recognized that there are also women out there that are finding it very difficult to stop. 9.4 million women are regularly viewing pornography. So as a result, there are websites that are created to help women specifically with a porn addiction. One that I noted was called dirtygirlscomeclean.com. Specifically designed to helping women with pornography. So we recognize that this is a both men and women problem. And it's growing, especially as a problem with women. And so if you or someone that you know is involved in this, then it's time to start taking some serious steps toward bringing out a resolution. Now, as was mentioned, I'm the director of the Bear Valley Bible Institute in Denver. We have a lot of young men that come to Bear Valley. Last year I was at a meeting that had several other directors of preacher schools, and one of them brought up, what do you guys do with students, preacher students, who have admitted to having a problem with pornography? And I just was quiet while I was listening to them, and every single one of them said they get kicked out immediately, expelled. And one of them looked at me and said, well, Denny, what happens at Bear Valley? And realizing that I was quickly becoming the odd man out, I said, I let them stay in school. But in order to stay in school, they're going to have to agree to a very rigorous program. You know, I think the time has come where we have to stop kicking this can down the street. These young men, and sometimes middle-aged men, are tormented by this. They hate this about themselves. And like any addiction, they're not sure how to escape. They need help. They've gone to a preacher school because they want to preach. They love God, they love His Word, but they are also battling a real serious problem in their life. And so I won't kick them out. But I try to help them. And if they'll follow through the program, they can stay in school. If they haven't conquered the problem by the time they get to graduation, they don't graduate. But I'm happy to say that there's been a very high level of success in developing a program that helps these young men get out from underneath this burden that they're carrying, this demon that they have in dealing with pornography. One of the things that I require is that all electronic devices are signed into a website called Covenant Eyes. I don't know if you're familiar with Covenant Eyes, but what it does is it reports to me every internet website that has been visited. Now, you might be saying, well, maybe they sign up their laptop, but they don't sign up their iPad. Or they sign up their laptop and their iPad, but they don't sign up their smartphone. I get that. I recognize the challenges. But yet, the people I'm working with want to beat this. One student last year came and showed me his non-smartphone, his flip phone that does not have internet access. And I said, what happened to your iPhone? He says, it's in the bottom of the lake. Serious people are going to do serious things. Can we walk away from a computer altogether? Yeah. An iPhone, a smartphone? Yeah. How committed are we to conquering this problem? Studies have shown that nearly 99% of those who have conquered a porn addiction did so because they had an accountability partner. Covenant Eyes is one way of establishing an accountability partner, where you know someone knows what you're doing. And if you've gone somewhere that you shouldn't go, well, you're notified. I'm notified. And I've had to make those very unpleasant 2 a.m. calls, or call someone into my office at 8 a.m. in the morning, and we have a talk. Now, I had handouts, but I don't see where they are. I've got a list of resources for you that I recommend. Part of the program that I put these young men on is books that need to be read, and that's on the handout that I've got. And then they need to make reports on those books, and then we talk about aspects of those books that they are applying in their own life. So if you're interested in getting that, then please get a copy of that handout. Got them? Okay. The fourth part that I want to talk about is married couples. It's possible that you've told your spouse about your addiction. Those are the toughest times for any marriage. Suggestions. First of all, you need to man up and tell her. 99% of those that conquer a porn addiction did so with an accountability partner, and almost 75% of those accountability partners were wives. So you need to man up and tell her. Let her understand that you're dealing with this problem. Also, you need to understand the effects that pornography is going to have on her. Recognize what it has done to her and to your marriage. It's not possible for a woman to not take this personally. But she shouldn't. Because the experts say again and again it has nothing to do with her. She could be the most beautiful woman on the planet and have the most perfect body, and it's not going to make a difference. But yet she thinks it is. And she takes it personally. Need to understand and recognize what it has done to her. Third, ask her to help you. It won't be easy on either of you, but love will see you through. Men who have successfully conquered a porn addiction frequently were able to do so because their wives rallied to their side, supported them, helped them. And then fourth, accept all of the blame. This really has nothing to do with her looks, her body, how affectionate she is or isn't. This is your problem. And you accept all of the blame. And also, number 5, although I don't have this numbered, recognize all of the additional problems created by a porn addiction. It is amazing to me. Maybe it shouldn't be. Rejection, anger, abuse, yelling at children, petty fights, all stem from really there being a problem with pornography. And then number 6, make a new covenant with each other. To keep yourself pure and take steps to ensure that promise. So what should we do? Set up parental controls. Obviously, that's something that all of us should do. There are devices like Apple Airport Extreme that will set access time for both desktop and wireless devices, control when the internet is on and off. And we got latchkey kids. You can set it where if they're going to be home alone right after school before you get home from work, there's not any internet access. Realize that you are not immune. This can happen in your home. This is not a passing fad. So only spiritual principles will truly protect. The key to overcoming this addiction is the desire to be Christ-like, a desire to please Him. When Paul said in 1 Corinthians 6, when he's talking about those who were adulterers and effeminate and idolaters, and such were some of you, but you were washed, you were sanctified, you were justified. How did they get there? Through the blood of Christ. Here are some other resources for those of you taking notes that you might want to jot down. Appreciate very much your attention. And let's work together in helping to bring a solution. Let's help those that are struggling with this. Let's make sure that we're keeping ourselves pure. It's like Paul told Timothy, as a young man, keep yourself pure. Thank you very much for your attention.